Hey, gang. Make sure I got a mic on here. Yeah, there we go. Hey, yes, I've got the readers on. Yes, the phones have already lit up. The song's not even finished yet, and everybody's on. Yeah, big show tonight. I've got a lot to share. I want to start by thanking everyone yeah, I need to use the readers because I'm going to be going all over the place on two monitors, trying to ignore a phone that's vibrating because it was also ringing on the desktop where it's supposed to ring, just not supposed to ring during the opening song. I want to thank everyone who has joined Yerks Tonight and Up the Middle on podcasting, on YouTube, on Yergs Radio over the past 2 or 3 weeks, starting with Donna Usavage, the chair of Boyertown Forward. Gang, we are not taking calls tonight. I thought I'd turn that app off, but it's getting through somehow. Yeah, I've got a lot to talk about tonight. And maybe we'll take calls tomorrow if you still want to get opinions and different other facts out there before people vote. But tonight's information was more important to get out. Yeah, I see it. I'm going to have to keep my hand on the button. Folks, if you're listening, hopefully you're listening. If you're trying to call in, we're not taking calls tonight. It's going to be better if you just pay attention to everything that the various sources I've had are as I convey them to you. I am going to throw this phone on the. Yeah, welcome to a one-man show. Everyone that has come on here, everyone seems very genuine and very interested in helping our community. And although I'm down in Tampa, that doesn't mean I still don't have a very special place in my heart for Boyertown, Pennsylvania. But Friday, this guy's got a learning disability. Friday, I had a guest here, Jessica Skelton, who I believe was very deceptive in her messages to the community and to me and to you. And I don't want to say somebody's name over the air who's obviously not paying attention, but can somebody from Boyertown Forward do a roll call and remind everybody to stay off the phone? There was plenty of deception in her mannerisms. I saw it Friday. I knew that she would be deceiving on certain issues 3 months ago when I received some of the tips that we received here. I wish that I got into this sooner. And what's going to happen is I'm going to take his call and then I'm going to make an ass out of him. So that my verification of the information that I've got and that I'm going to share with you tonight could have been done at less of a rushed pace, which is another reason why you won't see me or hear me make very direct accusations, with some exceptions. I'm about to block this number. But I don't like being lied to. There is a commercial that I did for Google Ads. Um, where I counted counterfeiters, assassins, terrorists, and spies. I've interviewed them all. And if you think that you're going to get past me, I mean, pretty much on any level, I'm also a poker player. So I deal with some of the biggest bullshitters there are. And as a result, pretty good at it. What I admit that I need to brush up on is just some more basic Shepard Smith, Anderson Cooper. There's one from each side. Journalism skills. There are questions I would have rather asked in the moment on Friday night. That didn't happen. I've invited Jessica back on tonight. Some travel coupled with some other personal schedules. I'm not going to divulge details that she did give to me. It's not important. She's not able to make it tonight. She wanted to be. I wanted to get a better itemized list of issues, which I will do now that it's better collated, but I just finished half an hour ago. I've been on this all weekend. And I've been on it. I've been on it again. I was on it repetitively because what we are going to say tonight has potential ramifications for my hometown. Some quick reaching out. I see you guys in DC. Welcome. I see everybody in the Philadelphia area, Pottstown and Boyertown, Tennessee, Alabama. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to that phone call that doesn't go away. I'm telling you, we're not taking calls tonight. So when you tell me that you're a planner and a communicator, I take that seriously. But tonight I have to wonder what exactly you planned as far as a campaign. Exact words were, I self-funded my campaign. And with regards to political action committees, I am not. Show's over. I mean, I don't know what else to say. With what I've got and with what I'm going to be sharing next. Yeah, I mean, gang, this is pretty obvious. And when I brought this to Jessica's attention Friday night or Saturday, maybe it was Friday night, sometime after the show, because like now, immediately after the show, my phone went nuts. The radio station numbers 1-888-322-4298 is the business line here at Yerg's Radio, and the number that's going crazy right now. Take it down for future tomorrow, maybe later tonight. But I need a cocktail and dinner. I could have lunch. I barely had lunch. Didn't have lunch. Didn't have dinner. But a lot of what she said in my professional opinion, roughly 25 years in law enforcement, from intern all the way up to federal agent, 21 years with the Secret Service. Since fall of 1990, I've been studying political science and researching as a result. Interviews, whatever. I know how to find these things. I've sent people to jail on less circumstantial evidence than this. And, she can say all she wants that with 1776, for example, I'm going to have to move that to another monitor because we're about to go live on that monitor. Maybe that'll do it. All right, let's. So I got literally 5 different things going on right now in front of me, and I want to make sure that this is all accurate. So here you see that one of my desktops, and this is some of the photos that I've taken from her Facebook page, in some cases, from you guys out there. Any other tips, by the way, you can get me at news@yergs.com or the first 800 number that I gave you. So this is one of the things Jess got in the mail. I need to move this mic so you can still hear me. And in this one, I've circled the comments that there were no comments, and then I realized this is a photo from a post. So we can disregard this one because we've got this one. It's the same thing without any of the writing. This area here is where it says it's from 1776. I'm going to get another camera angle someday, but just not today. She addressed that on the show. She said that the website cannot accept contact information unless you tell your platform. That's not true. I reached out to them on their contact page. They did not reply back, although I got an automated message saying that the message was received. I'm guessing, and you'll see that in the video that I shot. I don't think they're going to call me back. I think they think I'm just goofing on them. I heard back this morning from Moms for Liberty. They do not know anything about my political stances on anything. If they do, they got it from my website, which is much more detailed than Jessica's Facebook page. So we'll come back to we'll come back to 1776. I'm presuming this one, and again, for those of you on the radio, all of these photos that I'm showing right now will be on the show notes available at yergs.com. I wanted to have them up first, but like I said, I was at this till like 15, 20 minutes before I went live. Just because this is obvious. I presume this photo is the other side of the mailer that I just showed you. I say that because it's from the same post. So this is the front of what would have been sent by 1776, which we will discuss. This is another one. also from 1776. And you know how much time I've spent on this, so I didn't have time to go through it again. But I don't remember her saying that she got 2 mailers from them. So that's that one. But this is another one. And maybe it's the other side of the first one we saw. Because we've got the red circle that says vote and the kids raising their hand. But 1776 is associated with the pro-parent coalition. Now, do you remember me asking about political action committees from Friday? And I could go back and play it for you, but seriously, we've got enough to cover here. And this episode is going to be long enough. I don't need to make it longer. I know Monday Night Football's on the way. Some of you are going to be watching that. And whatever else. But I spent time today to get some of this information, reviewing the video so that I could get the chapters in the video. If you go back and look at it now, there's an easy way to do that if you know about YouTube and Spotify. But now as you scroll your cursor along the bottom, you'll see that there are different sections of the video that are identified by a chapter title. And one of them, at about 42 minutes in, 42:15, is when I asked about political action committees. And she went directly into the issues with the guy that's calling on her page about 1776. I go, okay, we talked about that. Anything else? Any other association? I am not. Here she is on a flyer that I've had since August. Moms for Liberty, posted by Vicki Flannery, the chair of the Montgomery County chapter of Moms for Liberty. And under Boyertown, I'm going to mispronounce this first of the hyphenated name in Region 1, but I think it's Cotillo, Scott, and Nyman for Boyertown. And in Region 2, I've been saying Region 3. But in Region 2, Skelton and Kratz. Why didn't she mention that? You telling me she doesn't know about this? She doesn't know about this Moms for Liberty mailer? Or Facebook post? When on her social media, on the page, and in comments like the empty space to the right on your screen, I'm making sure it's actually on your screen. That's why I was looking. All these ladies are calling each other Mama Bear. What does that mean? Mama, Mom, Bear, Boyertown Bears. Red, black. For those of you on the radio, I'm wearing a red Sea-Doo tight shirt that I wear jet skiing. and a black headband, our school's colors. Here's another one. And this is just, I mean, everybody's got these. You need these. These are signs, promoting her campaign. Okay, great. But if in an age where political bias and corporate influence and political action committee influence is so big, why would you not fully register as being self-funded, as in paid for by Jessica Skelton, not the friends of Jessica Skelton? So again, when she tells me that she's self-funded, I asked her. I have these. I got to scroll through notes. And citations and so. I was amazed to hear somebody of. Not that she's poor. Not that I've been in law enforcement. I'm on a law enforcement pension, and I'll tell you for free, I'm not doing bad. I don't make anything from the radio show or podcast yet. We're working on that. But I was impressed to hear that she was self-funded. So if you go back and see that moment in the video, I almost fell off my chair. And I asked, quote, not even from constituents. Her response was no. Then why would you not say that? Well, because if you're not, there's legal reasons. You got to declare that you have donations, which telling me that on some level she was clearly deceptive, if not outright lying. If like I said, in this day and age where it would be such a positive to be self-funded, look at Donald Trump. He's not self-funded, and I don't think he's touting that claim anymore. But more than 30 years ago, he just died. Ross Perot was self-funded. And he almost took it had he not dropped out. So, I'm not going to fault her for taking contributions, but don't tell me that you're not. I'm not going to fault her for having assistance from other like-minded supporters and political action committees, but don't tell me that you're not. And we've got some other photos to discuss with that very. Let me set up the next screen here, gang. Another thing that I wanted to talk was going through her Facebook page. She said that the 1776 people oh, wow. Get a hint. She said that the 1776 people on the website, she could not just have them call her, which is bullshit. That is bullshit. She said that she needed to make that reach out contact as a candidate so she could learn more about what 1776 does. Also bullshit. Their website is good enough because she circled back and said when she got the information and sent them the email, which we don't have, and to be fair, I didn't ask for it, but she sent all these other things from her website. I don't know why the email isn't there, but it's irrelevant because I don't believe that she wanted him to have it. After, it's already out, after they've already got it, after they've already said, yeah, she's our girl, they don't care if she likes it or not. But she said that when she decided 1776 was not for her, it was in conjunction with that call and the information on their website. Well, you had access to that. How was that not enough? Why did you have to reach out? And by the way, we already talked about this. You can reach out without telling them a damn thing about what you're about. And so that is beyond deceptive. I'm just going to say it. But then from looking at her Facebook page, which by the way has nothing on it. So when she says that they took information from her Facebook page, I've been on her Facebook page all weekend. I can't find anything about what she stands for. Not in the about section. I saw one video that was brief. And I think, in fact, part of her strategy, and if this is her strategy, that's her strategy. That's fine. But I think being obscure and just being, and again, she was a nice enough lady, but she's right. You're going to need to have more than that to even be on a local school board. And we'll talk about her 5 pillars of, not pillars, that's Islam, 5 tenets of Taekwondo as well. But first I want to talk about, essentially being guilty by association. You are who your friends are. If I'm wrong about that, moms, then let your kids hang out with some of the local ne'er-do-wells and see how that works out. But she said that she was for science. She was for information. She was for research. Yet here is the artwork on the page of one of her friends, Lynn Byerly, who's got contacts to a bunch of the different people we could talk about tonight if I even just decide to continue. I mean, I think this is pretty obvious. But free our faces. And here, I want to make sure that I'm hitting on the screen. Yeah, there we go. Okay. When tyranny something, resistance to tyranny, service to, I'm going to presume that's God. None of those are right, but I promise you, in this country, we saw tyranny. And in 2020, we voted him out. And I think that using a child like this to get your political point across is beyond pathetic. Put your own face on there. That's just one. This is another one. There's her Facebook page, by the way. Page transparency. Blank. Back a slide was the Betsy Ross flag. It's been used, and this is coming from the FBI. So don't say, oh, I'm just flying and all. No, you're not. It is a clandestine way to say that you're a racist, white supremacist, or just an ignorant son of a bitch, because it reflects to a time not just of the United States fighting for its independence, but it is referred to a time by these groups, per validated undercover informants, that it is a flag used for racism. Hence why we've been using that hashtag, and not necessarily meaning for the Betsy Ross flag, but any American flag that is being used by any extremist group, left or right or middle or wherever, that does not use it what it's intended for. It's not a battle flag to be carried up Capitol Hill while you're storming the Capitol. It is not a battle flag to fly at your own personal fortress to identify yourselves, again, clandestinely, as a quote-unquote patriot. We'll get to that, too. So that was one of, and you know, again, this is a rather empty page. But here's one of her very tight associates, also running for school board, Wendy Kratz. I haven't spoken with Wendy. I've got nothing against Wendy. She hasn't told me that she is or is not a mom for liberty. So no issue there. Just that, again, we're going to see Wendy come up, as well as Lynn Byerly being an apparent go-between, the way it looks. From one mama bear to another. I know you're all moms. I get that. But I've been in the intelligence community for more than 21 years. Don't piss in my ear and tell me it's raining. This next one was pulled from the lady that was, I don't remember the name, and I don't have that handy in notes, and I'm not going to scroll for 20 minutes finding it. The the Montgomery County chair of Moms for Liberty. As with any group like that, people post to their Facebook and to other social media to try to pass information and further their agenda. This was one of them that I took from that Montgomery County chair. I forget her name. But this foggy cover was over it because it had been complained about and Facebook deemed it misleading. False information. The same information was checked in another post by independent fact checkers. See why. And once I clicked on the I and let it out, it's a conspiracy theory, is what it is. And I don't remember exactly which part of this is the bullshit, but apparently on September 10th, 2001, Donald Rumsfeld holds a press conference to state that the Pentagon was missing more than $2.3 trillion. But the next day, something happened and everybody forgot. Well, do the math. September 10th, 2001, the next day was September 11th. And so suddenly that $2.3 trillion wasn't an issue. That's been deemed bullshit. And again, this was from, there it is, Vicki Flannery. Right on the photo. That's been deemed to be by, as Facebook has said, independent fact checkers. And my issue with that is that here is one of the chairs of a county chapter that we are suspecting our guest from Friday to be a part of. And my question now is, if that chapter that she, I will say, presumably is perhaps associated with, is spreading that type of disinformation and conspiracy theories, what else she bullshitting about? What else you got, Vicky? So that's that one. There's a nice. Oh, you're not even seeing it because I'm not on that screen, which is good. I was just going to say there's a nice photo of my soundboard. And now off to um, I don't even have the other, but here's one, and that's all that matters. I don't need to. I don't need to bombard you with all kinds of photos. But again, this is, I think we determined that to be Wendy Kratz in the photo with her here. This is, I presume, at the Boyertown Halloween Parade. There was another nighttime photo that was sent to me by somebody else from the Boyertown Halloween Parade, per the photographer of the photo, where she's what we would call, this is what's called caucusing, when you take part in political action with fellow party members. And she made clear that she is a Republican. So when we said that, she was on any reference to her being an independent, I want you to know that claim is only with reference to her finances. That she personally is financing, was what she said, her campaign. Well, who's paying for that truck? Okay, maybe she is. Fine. But you don't think that hanging out with a bunch of other Republicans who might be part of a political action committee, like the Republican Party, don't you think that's being supportive or supporting? And again, it's just, if you're going to have this, then there's going to be more. What have we not uncovered? Where's that at? There's my soundboard and Frank Sinatra in the background. I think I'm going to listen to some Frank tonight. I've got 3 movies that I want to share with you, but in the interest of time, I'm not going to do that tonight. I'm going to put it on YouTube with I might not even put it like publicly on YouTube. I might put a link. What I'm probably going to do is when I post this video from this episode in YouTube, I might put the links in the comments, so you have to go to the episode to see the link to these. Because you don't really need these without knowing the episode. Why did that just change? There we go. So that's those. She, in an effort to get out in front of tonight's show, she did post something about somewhere where she apparently misspoke. I think I know what she's talking about. It's irrelevant. I think there's much more to have a concern about than just that. So I'm not going to. But if you're not yet familiar with Yergs.com, I love it. It's amazing. I think it's a great site, done by a guy named Jay Mangello, who is from Limit Break Digital. You can go to limitbreakdigital.com, and right now he's offering 10% off your website. Yergs.com is a $3,000 site. 10% is $300. Keep that, put it back into the site, do whatever. Just if it's part of a political campaign, do what's right. Anyway. Also, I got a text from somebody on Riverside. I'll get to that later, folks. Like I said, no phone calls tonight. Also, Aroma by Peter. Now I know I got a lot of moms here. Whether you're on one side of a political spectrum or the other, I know I got a lot of moms. So go to this guy's site, and that'll be in the show notes too. aromabypeter.com/Yergs for the scented candles that are amazing. I burn one here, and I know you're saying, oh, that's gay. Yeah, well, I am, but the scent that's burning right now, that's kind of keeping me at least a little chilled, is leather. My studio smells like a man cave. I think I forgot about some other photos, and I'm just going to, I've held your attention long enough. I'm going to go through some of the citations and let you know about that, and give some comments about them. One of which was I found the 5 tenets from an actual Taekwondo site. They are courtesy, integrity, perseverance, self-control, and indomitable spirit. If in fact she's being deceptive, which I believe she is, and when you see the videos that I'll put in the links, it'll prove that. There's so much else she could have done much more easily to get to 1776 or learn about 1776. So there's one of them. I have to question her integrity. And indomitable spirit was about standing up for what you believe. What's wrong with being with Moms for Liberty? Yeah, they're polarizing. So am I. But don't lie about it. If that is who and I said it or alluded to it, I don't know if I actually got a chance to say it. When she said, and there's a chapter about it, I can tell you where it's at because it's got the time by it. At 31 minutes and 33 seconds, it doesn't matter what I believe. That's right, because you represent constituents. But don't tell me that your Facebook page is how you get that message across when there's nothing on it. I'm waiting for the politician to come up and say, I don't know what my position is yet because you haven't told me. That's the guy or gal I'm voting for. And she was so close. If she wouldn't be a spy in the background, or whatever you want to call it. But that's not having the courage to stand up and say, I'm with Moms for Liberty. I am for a old school traditional family and not for gay people or trans people. And I'm not for trans people being in various locker rooms either. Think back to the Obama campaign and the first Obama campaign and his entire administration. He wasn't for gay marriage in 2008. But he, along with the country, evolved. And by 2012 and eventually 2013, crazy Uncle Joe had some wisecrack remark about being for it, and then he went for it too. Personally, I think it was all staged. I think he used Uncle Joe to the best of his ability and said, hey, Joe, we're going to change this. You start. At any rate, we're at that 2008 level right now with trans athletes, and we don't know what the answer is yet. That doesn't mean we alienate the trans athletes, but it also doesn't mean that we create unfair competition levels or locker room environments. I almost had a story. I did have a story back in May or June about a trans male to female student athlete at the University of Penn who still had male parts. I'll leave it somewhat scientific, but was swimming on the women's team. Now, and Jane and I talked about this on my other podcast, Both Sides Now. That's, I think, where I said it most recently. As a male swimmer, which he was doing fourth place on a good day. In the process of transitioning and identifying as a female swimmer, and I'm not against that. I'm not against him, saying, God made a mistake. I'm a woman, and that's how I'm going to live my life and do what I have to do surgically and whatever else. I have a good friend of mine that's going to be visiting here this winter that is becoming a woman, transitioning to a woman. But I think there's a competitive advantage in a biological male competing with biological females. Come to find out that after the event, I'll go back to saying he, because of his behavior, paraded around the women's locker room while they were uncovered and while he was uncovered with still the male parts. This is the conservative side of me, gang. That's fucked up. And those student athletes should not have been put in that situation. But here I am saying it. For as liberal as you think I am, I was called a Democrat last week by one of my own on-air talents at Yerg's Radio. I was like, no, haven't been one ever. Or a Republican. Never will be. But there's two of the five pillars that I think she's missing. As far as 1776, we talked about that. If it's on their website, why talk to them? And she said the reason why she said no to them was because of her thoughts of the conversation and what she found on the website. Well, if what's on the website already doesn't match, why are we having a conversation? And that's why I think, she maybe is backed by 1776. Also, the fact that she only told us about, to the best of my knowledge, and I went through it twice, she only told us about one mailer from 1776. I got two. In these show notes will also be my citations where I'm getting a lot of this information from. And in some cases, there's just so much. I just tell you what Google search I did, and you can find it yourself from there. One of the photos I missed, and I'm not going to go back and talk about it, was a lady running for Congress who is far right. Kathy Barnett is anti-gay, anti-Muslim, anti. And one of those same ladies that was the mama bear lady was associated with Kathy Barnett too. So again, you are who your friends are, especially in politics. And that's my political science degree talking. The Betsy Ross flag is, as we talked about, is used by white supremacist groups and self-proclaimed, quote, patriot groups. We'll talk about that before we leave. So, yeah, you're not flying that because you're a historian. Again, with being self-funded, I asked not even from constituents, and she said no. But then there's the pro-parent coalition and all the things she denied. Some other notes with regards to, and I thought it was Region 3, that one mailer said Region 2 with regards to her region. She said, I got my steps in. I mean, she's out caucusing. She's out going door to door. That's a good thing. I want to do what's right. Well, at a minimum, the one who identified as a communicator is not communicating well at all. At a minimum. We can work together if we use those tenets of Taekwondo. Is she using all of them already out of the gate? I don't believe so. If you Google the Pro Parent Coalition, there is a other far right. All the notes here are it's the link. Comes up to ccv.org is one of the articles I found. And it's anytime you see something like that, this article that's in, and again, the link to the article is in the show notes. Everything you read has bias. My show tonight has bias. Even if everything that I'm telling you is 100% accurate, fact checked by the fact checkers of the fact checkers, it's still coming at you through my eyes. And as a result, you're only hearing what I'm telling you. I'm telling you, you're not getting everything tonight. We will miss Monday Night Football. So, in conclusion, and this part is actually a script that I wrote because I dictated to this thing that but I wanted it to get these points down, and I just figured I might as well do it in a script. When I started up the middle in Yerks Tonight, I vowed not to be the guy that tells you, my dedicated audience, how to live your lives. That's not freedom. This series of interviews and episodes begins with one interview and the problems existing in my hometown that were presented to me at that time. Though many have asked me to be persuasive in each direction, I have made a life of remaining impartial, yet here, remaining active and engaged. I did not get to interview all candidates. I clearly regret not becoming active enough in my hometown's political campaigns earlier than what I did. I feel that I would have been able to help my community much more than what I've done in the past 2 or 3 weeks. This, and every episode, provides some method of contact information to me here at Studio Yergs. Please continue to use it. Our latest interview received more attention than the previous ones for what I hope you will see are obvious, necessary reasons. Those reasons are not because of my bias in one direction or another. I'm certain that the previous 4 candidates, if given another opportunity, would likely answer some of their questions differently. As a 21-year veteran Secret Service agent, with additional research skills previously acquired during my history and political science degrees, and having been around top-notch journalism during all of those years, it is my professional opinion that Jessica Skelton was, at minimum, incredibly disorganized with her lack of facts. That being said, given that she too is a self-proclaimed research junkie, my words, I feel that her bare Facebook page should have much better information, none of which would have been obtained by any political action committee without her knowledge and assistance, like she said. She mentions that she's independent and not affiliated with any political action committee, nor that she is funded by any political action committee. Yet her own Facebook page shows recent photos of this year's Boyertown Halloween Parade. Who provided that truck? That's funding. And if that was her truck, then she provided funding to other Republicans. That's association that she claimed to not have. And why not all Republicans? Brad Updegrove also made it very clear that he too is a Republican. Yet he was not on Jessica's float. One may answer that she was only caucusing with Republicans that she was like-minded with, to which I say, again, she was clearly not caucusing with all Republicans. And I found it funny that those Republicans with whom she did not caucus, be in the Halloween parade with, exchange messages on Facebook with, were Republicans openly associated with Boyertown Forward. While those Republicans she did caucus with seemed to be doing less to hide their associations with Moms for Liberty, the 1776 Project, and a relatively small group called the Boyertown Patriots. So whether through direct association, or that of friends who do less to hide support to various hate groups, the end result is still the same. And then there's the issues. Just saying parental rights, as she did in the interview, is pretty much an admission that you're with Moms for Liberty. Furthermore, her looking for the, quote, patriotic teachings of the 1776 Project also indicate a lack of actual patriotism. What do I mean by that? The word patriot is a title that should be given to the user by someone else, not self-proclaimed. As Thomas Jefferson once wrote, self-evident. Additionally, as is often the case with any extremist group, such labels usually really identify someone quite far from that meaning. Moms for Liberty, for example, not being about liberty. Moreover, the clandestine usage of labels such as Mama Bear can easily be reinterpreted into a Boyertown Mom for Liberty. At which point, you might as well just say it. While Jessica did bring some very good points forward in her interview, she certainly didn't do it via her Facebook page, like she said. There's nothing there. And again, the videos of that will be in the show notes. During my dealings with Jessica, I found her to be very nice and professional, and also very accommodating. We scheduled Friday's interview at pretty much the last minute. I've addressed that. I would have preferred that much of this took place earlier in the season. However, what I've uncovered in one weekend is likely just the tip. Like I said, Jessica is very nice. That is the same thing that I heard from one of the Boyertown Forward members when their neighbor said that they met with the campaign representative from Moms for Liberty. Quote, but she was so nice. End quote. It makes me sit back and think about what and who we're really dealing with. Is it Moms for Liberty? Is it 1776? Is it the Pro-Parent Coalition? All three of which we've shown that Jessica, despite denying it, has ties with some degree. This reminds me of a familiar response to the question, what's going on? Answer, same shit, different day. You've been up the middle.